Right, what is up guys and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm in a very different location than where I usually film. I'm in this grand Temple of a warehouse with my good friend Tierra from Tierra Goes Green. So just a quick introduction on who she is. We met through, as you guys know, I work through this app called TaskRabbit, and I had the pleasure to meeting Tierra, and she's also vegan as well. How long have you been vegan for?
Since 2007.
2000, okay, yeah. So I've been vegan for 6 years, so she's a super vegan. And if you guys didn't see the fruit and vegetable video, there's a lot of fruits that I'm very ignorant to. So she proposed the idea that we go to this farmer's market called Yellow Green and check them out. So enough about me. Let me ask you about yourself. So if you guys don't know, she runs this brand called Tierra Goes Green that they sell amazing skincare products and supplements as well. So what made you want to start your whole supplement and skincare line?
Honestly, I got peer pressured into it. Like completely peer pressured just by the community. So I used to do consultations and detoxes and anything that I knew as far as the more that I learned about holistic health, the more that I learned just understanding fruits and vegetables and seeds, and also seeing so many different things that were common and plaguing our communities. So I honestly got peer pressured into the product side of everything. And with the consultations, I was learning that a lot of the same ailments that people were literally suffering from was pretty much the same thing. So instead of making other people rich, I decided to come out with my own supplement lines because I was typically recommending the same exact things all the time. So that's how the supplement brand actually came from Tierra Goes Green.
Yeah, the thing I like a lot about your brand is, I don't even know if you know this about me, but I have this skin condition called ichthyosis, which it gives me very dry, scaly skin. And I've been using your the Sur sauce and these other and the face flavor for my face. And my family says that they see like a difference, and this is not me just trying to promote you for no reason. But the thing I like about your brand is that there's actually ingredients that I could understand.
Absolutely.
It's not a bunch of mumbo jumbo, sodium lauryl, sulfate, sodium, tartanate, peptides.
All these words that were never on a spelling test.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's honestly the main thing that keeps my brand running the way that it does, is because I won't compromise the integrity of the ingredients and where I actually source everything from. Unfortunately, we're in a time where everything is about science. And that is the thing, you know, we're putting things on our bodies on a regular basis that were never on a spelling test. We don't even know these words. How come we weren't allowed to learn this language? So in my things, all it is nature, you know, truly 100% nature. So I hand make everything. It's my energetic transfer that goes into every single bottle. That's very important to me, is kind of the same correlation from farm to table. You know, like, you know where you got your stuff from, you know the farmer, you know where it's located and things like that. So with my brand, it's very much a brand about morals and a brand about nature and a brand about integrity.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head when you said that it's like from the farm to, because I get a different type of experience because I'm literally in the warehouse, see how everything is made, and I guess that's what made me also like trust the product more, because I see exactly how it's made. But I'll give a quick like I'll show some B-roll of this whole place and like the manufacturing process. But everything, she has jars of moringa oil, avocado oil, jojoba oil. You actually educated me on some of these types of ingredients that I didn't even know of. And yeah, no, it's very interesting. And she also has a supplement line, guys. It's not just skincare.
Because skincare is literally from the inside out. It starts internally. So anytime someone's having a skin condition, whether it's a flare-up or eczema or acne or anything like that, that is the side effect of the components that are happening internally. So I think that when we actually troubleshoot the root cause of the conditions, that's when we're able to actually really see true results.
Yeah.
You know? So feeding it from the outside and from the inside.
Yeah, because I feel like everyone wants to treat the symptom and not the root cause.
We're in such a microwave society, though. Everybody wants instant gratification. They want to see everything right here, right now, immediate results and things like that, where, yes, you may see results, but anything synthetic either already has a side effect or will create one. So when you're understanding nature, truly nothing in nature is ever rushed, yet and still everything gets accomplished.
Yeah, yeah, we're both super against the pharmaceutical industry because I just hate that. I see it from my parents that they just take pills and pills and pills and thinks that is gonna fix the problem, but it really never does. And that's kind of why I majored in nutrition, because I believe in treating the root cause. And even though through the educational system, like most of the information is outdated, so I know that you have a lot of nutrition education as well, and you didn't even go to school for it. So I feel that's how we got a connection, because we're able to bounce ideas off each other.
Absolutely. I
And
love learning what it is that you learned and what it is that people are being taught nowadays, because you just never know. And there's so much, like I said, disconnect from nature. And once again, science is the forefront of everything when science is truly a divorce from nature. So it's no judgment, like I am for the pharmaceutical industry and what it is and what it actually does. It's just, once again, the morals that has happened within that industry and the integrity. So it's no longer about really curing people, it's about treating people. So it's all about the treatment. So there's more money in treatment. There's no money if there's healthy, happy, thinking, conscious people walking around the planet. There's no, but we're in a capitalistic structure. So I understand, but overall, people just need to generally do their own education if they're truly trying to heal themselves, as opposed to just listening to a medical professional to diagnose them or treat them from something. And honestly, that's just not their business module.
yeah, no, that is an important caveat, because I'm not super against the pharmaceutical industry. I believe it's for a last case resort, that if there's something that apple cider vinegar can't treat, like for cancer or other things like that, yes. But when it's things that you could control yourself and change, why go down that route? Why not just use what nature gave us, and just have proper nutrition, proper hydration, proper sleep? That's a huge one, sleep. And
because those things, honestly, just having some compassion for the mindset of the people and how they get so deterred from nature is, once again, that instant gratification and the illusions. So they're tricked into believing into a system that is ideally and fundamentally not set up to truly eradicate their issues. It masks a lot of problems. And unfortunately, we're in a society where wearing a mask is popularized, whether that's corporate America or whether that is family dynamics or religion. People have to mask who it is that they truly are. And once again, it's just rooted in nature. So people are masking their natural instincts because society does not allow, or it does not encourage, that type of free will and free living, even though this is the land of the free. But that's another bullshit idea anyway.
yeah, when you're
freedom comes at such a big cost.
When you're speaking about masks, I thought you were talking about like the masks where like people like for that disease that I don't even want to talk about. But yeah, people are still wearing like those masks, and it appalls me. Like to this day, I'm like, you're still wearing a mask? I mean, to each their own, but
they think that wearing the mask is more important than their metabolic health. So once again, they're doing what they're told or what they believe is, going to prevent whatever the case may be, not realizing like our bodies are the highest form of technology on this entire planet.
Yeah.
And it has all of the answers if you tune in. But we're so distracted by having to work, and if you're a parent and all of these other obligations outside of yourself, it's rare that people have the opportunity to tune in. So it's just an energetic frequency, ideally. What people are truly suffering from, they don't realize how much of their energy is extracted. So in those types of correlations, they believe what it is that they actually believe. And unfortunately, they don't believe in nature anymore.
Yeah. No, I do believe that most people are distracted, and their cortisol levels are just too high. And I believe a major pillar of nutrition and fitness is just lowering down the stress and just working out outside, for example, just going outside, being outside of these internet frequencies and the Wi-Fi signals, getting sun, And also when you're less stressed, you could eat more mindfully, and you'll realize that you won't eat as big of a portion as you did when you're oh my
Yeah.
God. Like, and everyone is in that frequency, and not to say that everyone, me including myself, I notice myself that I go into those states at times, but I have to like catch myself and rewire myself back to the state of consciousness I would want to operate in. But yeah.
Absolutely. And once again, the society is set up that way. It's set up to keep you distracted. It's set up to keep so much pressure on you. You know, I understand where people do have high levels of stress just because of what the world requires from
Yes.
them. You know, like, so people just trying to sustain their livelihood. I know everything happening with inflation right now. I've been dealing with a lot of stress just because rent is going up, you know, 40% per month in certain things. Me being able to source my ingredients to be able to supply, you know, to the people, all of the things, all sorts of things are just contributing factors to the stress component. So I understand, but once again, people just have to make a mindful choice of what it is that they're going to participate in that moment, because some days is just, you know, too long. People say like, well, let's just get through the next day. A day is excruciating when you're dealing with grief, or when you're dealing with stress, or when you're dealing with uncertainty. And in those elements of people allowing themselves to get distracted, they just kind of have to hone in and go to that natural state. A lot of people, once again, go outside of themselves and they go to the religion aspects of it, or they go to talk to a friend, or a lot of people now is a buzzword going to therapy. But all of those things even still are outside of yourself. If you hone in and allow yourself to be rooted in nature, the type of energetic transfer that happens, like you said, just go outside and get some sun. It's just like, yeah, they'll go outside, but take your shoes off and walk in some grass.
Yeah.
They think that's dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, getting too much sun is dangerous. Or so they think, you know, like they're literally allowing everything else to distract them from their true sources. And that is nature. Like I said, nature's undefeated. Regardless of humanity, regardless of written language, regardless of religious context, regardless of anything, nature always wins. So at the end of the day, people kind of have to allow themselves to want to untrain themselves in the mindset of what they've been taught. And that's where they don't want to do the work, because it's one more thing to do. What do you mean I have to relearn the entire nutritional food pyramid? You know, what do you mean I have to understand how to cook fruits and vegetables and make juice? What do you mean I have to? That's just one more thing that's added on their plate. I understand the frustration, but I also understand the side effects.
Yeah.
And nature doesn't come with side effects.
And they don't understand when you dial in your nutrition, it makes everything else much easier. And I also like what you said, that a day is very long when you're stressed, because there's a saying that goes around that life is short, where there's a caveat of truth to it, but when you're stressed, unhappy with your life, and mad, life is very long.
It is long, and it's excruciating, and it's hard, and it's debilitating at times, and it will sit you on your ass often, depending upon what it is that you're dealing with. And like I said, there's so many different societal factors: people's livelihoods, people's homes, people's families, you know, their children. There's all sorts of spaces of scarcity, when ideally all people are trying to do is survive.
Exactly.
So those levels of survival looks different for everyone else, you know, like, so depending upon what neighborhood you're in, or what time of night, or what road you travel to commute to wherever your destination is, it can be unsafe. So here's all of these types of environmental factors dealing with those things. So it's very hard for someone to regulate themselves in those types of areas, because all they did was get up and go to work. But think about the road rage just on that commute.
Especially in Miami.
Yeah, like they're coming with all sorts of issues and things like that. So it's hard, you know, especially when you're obligated to everything else outside yourself, and you have to do this job, or you have to be this parent, or you have to be the significant other, or you have to be a caretaker. It's all sorts of things that people are dealing with that are unimaginable. And I don't even exist in my life in this space, in those types of arenas. So I can't even imagine living the life that I live if I had to do any of those things, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah. No, and yeah, that's why our only way to combat that is through meditation. And by the way, she also sells ashwagandha, which it helps to release stress, and it also helps your testosterone as well. But how, if I may ask, how often do you meditate? Like,
My meditation looks different. So my meditation isn't sitting on a pillow, oming out with Tibetan gongs and bowls and things like that. My meditation is movement.
yes.
So my meditation is physical activity. I'm a workout fanatic. I'm a gym vagabond. So in those elements, me perpetually just cleaning, like cleaning is a meditation for me. It soothes me. It allows me to rearrange. It helps me shift the air of my current environment. Mm-hmm. So my meditation looks different. It's definitely not a Deepak Chopra or, it's not anything Carl Jung or anything like that. It looks completely different. So that's one of the dynamics that comes down to meditation. Yeah. My meditation is truly movement.
I mean, that is interesting because meditation at the end of the day is just being present in the present moment. And when you're working out, like some people there are on their phones, but you have to count your rests, you have to count how many sets, and you're like counting in your head and going through the movement. And I find the best workouts is when I'm 100% present, like focusing on the muscle. And yeah, I never really thought about it that way. That working out and doing cardio is like a really good form of meditation.
And just stillness, like true stillness, just sitting still. You're not doing anything. That is truly the highest form of meditation for me, because if you don't slow down, if you don't sit down, your body's going to shut you down.
Yeah.
Regardless. So in those elements, a meditation for me is just binge watching something on television that I have no connection to. That's a form of meditation for me. I don't feel anything. Nothing's reacting. My body is still. I'm not fully engaged, but I am. So it's a different type of harmony that is being able to be exchanged in those elements of just stillness. I'm able to be very present with myself. I'm a very present person, as you know. Mm-hmm. Like I am all about the moment, all about right here, right now. Mm-hmm. And because tomorrow isn't promised, or next moment isn't promised. So a lot of people get stuck in the then or the there is what I say. Mm-hmm. Like the then is the past, the there is the future, where I just reside in being very neutral in this present reality. Because that's honestly all that I have. So understanding how to just be very neutral and just very present with every single thing it is that you do. I live a very mindful life of integrity and of mindfulness and just really understanding intention with every single moment. So if I know, regardless if I made a not so good mistake or, whatever, because I don't believe in good or bad, but everything that I do in every single moment is with purest intention humanly possible. So that way I know I'm doing my absolute best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wow, that was a lot. And yeah, you're right that when you say that we're all like gonna die at the end of the day and tomorrow is not guaranteed. And I'm 26, and once you begin to see people die in your life, that's when it really hits you. It's like, whoa, this is real. And the more that you see it, the more I try to appreciate every day, because it sounds cliche, but yeah, tomorrow is not guaranteed. Even if you have your nutrition and the health to the most optimal levels, you don't know if you could get hit by a bus like the next day.
You can literally drop dead. That's one of the things. I recently lost my mother. It's almost coming up on a year, but she was super healthy, worked out 5 times a week. She played volleyball while she was pregnant with me, bared 5 kids, she drank a gallon of water every single day, took all of her supplements. She's the prime, 0 health issues. Like 0, a little bit of high blood pressure because she did like Mountain Dew from time to time. But understanding literally like that. I was on the phone with her 3 minutes later, she was gone. So I know in that type of space, that woman lived. There's no regrets. There's no, past things that she definitely has. She literally every single moment, and I know that's one of the things that luckily I've inherited, is being very present in every
Yes.
single moment that you have, because you're here and then you're just not.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
the present is a gift. That's why they call it the present. And I found it in myself that I would like replay things about my past, and I would just catch myself like, this is so dumb. Like no one goes and reads the previous chapters of a book. Like you just have to focus on the present, and yeah, like keep the future in mind, like a roadmap. But it's not something that you should like hone in on and forget of everything that's going on now. And when I would not live in the present, I would just notice like time just pass by me, and I'll say like, whoa, that was just 2 years from 2020 to 2022 that I was just like feeling sorry for myself. It was like the midst of COVID. I gained like some weight. I lost it like thankfully, but yeah, it's crazy how fast that time could pass by when you're just not present and thinking about the past and replaying like old situations. And
That's
yeah,
definitely one of those traps, is to be able to ruminate. You know, like you said, you replay the past and the stories and the spaces that you've
Yes.
occupied, and feeling sorry for yourself and things like that. It's one of the things to understand it. It's something different when you're just trying to revisit a chapter of your life in order to really extract the lesson from it. You know, like, but it's fine to go there. Don't get stuck. You know, like, so be mindful of what you're doing when you're revisiting these outdated patterns that were once used.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's been so many different versions of me. I love all the me's that I have been and all the me's that are to come. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy doing, is reinventing myself.
Exactly.
You know, like, so Tiara in her 20s is not the Tiara in her 30s, and the Tiara in her 30s is not the Tiara in her 40s, you know, from moment to moment to moment to moment. But that's only because I am truly, truly monogamous with my relationship with growth. So I like expansion. I like to break down my mental limitations. I like to see things within myself that I didn't even know were possible. So nature is one of the things that allows me to tap into that element of myself. And as we tap into nature, we just get more clarity within ourselves.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I definitely resonate with what you said about identity. And identity is so important because I feel like it's like a thermostat that you have inside of your house, in the way that whatever hits the thermostat, like if you open the door and a bunch of hot air comes in, it will regulate the temperature and set the temperature to what you're at. And if it gets really hot, it will at the same time regulate the temperature to have a homeostasis of the temperature inside of your house. And yeah, I've had identities where it just doesn't serve me thinking of me this way, but it's just you grow up so long thinking of yourself a certain way. And when you do try to change yourself, there's people that try to remind you of your old identities. Like, oh no, that's not you. You're not that person. Like, I remember you like this. And then since everyone likes to box people in a certain box, when they see someone breaking out of that, they say like, no, this is not making sense to my reality. Let me like bring this person down. And yes, I believe in, it's good to change your identity. It's not good to stay the same. And that was really powerful what you said. But
that's one of those things, like, people just want to attach things to things.
Yes.
You know, like, we need words in order to make something make sense, as opposed to it doesn't need a word for it to still exist. You know, like, so really understanding yourself and tuning out all the noise. You know, like tuning out all of the static of what people want you to be, or what people once known you to be, or what people have to say. When you allow yourself to let go of those attachments, one, of giving a fuck, two, of the limitations, because people can only meet you to where they've met themselves. So the more you expand within yourself, the more you will outgrow your outdated environments. And it's fine. That's who you were in that space. But in this moment, it's a brand new version. So I'm in a space of my complete evolution where people have to be elevated just to be able to access me. You know, like, so I shut doors. I shut doors and I burn bridges. And I don't give a fuck about burning a bridge because I can swim,
Yes.
so I can build a new one. I can construct something else. I believe in myself in that sort of expansive state. So there's nothing that I can't do or overcome, even when it's hard, even when it's excruciating, even when it is just completely tumultuous. I'm still going to do that thing. So walking into the unknown is something that is basically like a myth, as opposed to people just reverting back to spaces of familiarity. So when you present as a different space of familiarity of who you are in this moment, they're still attached to who you used to be. So that's fine. Let them keep that version of you if they don't want to meet this space of what you actually occupy. That's fine. Let them keep that. Let them keep their attachments. I am the hero in a lot of people's stories, or I am the absolute villain. Either way it goes is perfect to me. And it doesn't stop anything it is that I've done or where I'm going or where I'm at in this current reality.
Yeah, I've definitely burned a lot of bridges in the last 2 years of just relationships that didn't serve me. I made myself lonely in a sense that I've analyzed every single friend and relationship that I've had, and when you notice that you're just hanging around people just because of familiarity, just because it's already been 5 or 6 years that we've known each other, but if you actually dissect the relationship, there's nothing that's benefiting me. We're just existing together, wasting time. And I've been honestly just 1 or 2 friends that I could recall. Well, you're obviously a really good friend as well, that I could recall. And I prefer being lonely. Well, I don't consider it lonely because I like being with myself, and I'm just laser focused on, first of all, this channel that I'm doing, my career. And yes, I find it way better to be alone with people that I know that will ride and die for me. If anything happens, that it's either we all go down or nothing at all, than hanging around with people that you're 50-50 on, that you don't know where they stand. But enough of negative stuff, because
it's not negative, it's reality.
It is.
I don't have anyone around that I have to side eye. I also am in a space where I am relentless with listening to my intuition.
Yes.
And truly those intuitive hits, because in the end of a relationship dynamic, and that's a friendship, that's a co-working space, that's partnerships, that's intimate relationships, all of them are relationships, family, every single last one is under that umbrella. In the end of it, we already knew, at least for me, I already knew that this particular person had these types of characteristics. I already knew that, this was an area that I didn't necessarily feel safe in. I just thought that I was so special that it wouldn't pertain to me, but as you live and as you experience more and more people, and as you experience yourself more, you truly understand what works for you and what doesn't. And I think that that's where it comes down to nutrition, is really understanding, okay, celery may not work for one person and works amazing for another person. Bee pollen,
I hate celery.
Bee pollen may make one person itch where it makes another person feel illuminated. Understanding our differences while in this current reality, I think that's what makes this planet so beautiful. A rose isn't trying to tell a hydrangea how to actually live. I think that the rose sees the rose for what the rose is, and the rose and the hydrangeas actually see the lilies for what the lilies are, and so on and so forth. So when we're able to really just understand our unique differences and still be able to contribute to the beauty of this planet and the beauty of the energy of that moment, then that's where it actually is. And all things in nature aren't afraid to grow, whether they die off, whether they dry up, whether we're just there for the season. So in relationship dynamics, that's how I actually maneuver through the transition of people, whether that's a physical death or a mental death or emotional death or relationship death. Understand nature, and you understand every aspect of how this planet was correlated.
Well, as you can tell, guys, she's very wise, fair. And I know my mom said it's never appropriate to ask a woman's age, but if I believe, how old are you? 39. Do you see how young she looks? It's crazy. When she told me that, I couldn't believe it. But honestly, I'm a little hungry, and Like we could talk forever. Like
All
honestly,
day.
I was just planning for this to be 5 minutes, but yeah, there's so many fruits that I didn't even know about. Like what's it called?
Persimmon.
Persimmon. Just a bunch of stuff that we have to try out. So we're gonna go to Yellow Greens, and I'll bring you guys along with me. So
See y'all soon. We're gonna go and try some fruits.
bye, guys.
Bye.